Coinbase versus SEC. Coinbase fighting for crypto industry as a whole, especially altcoin holders. Oral arguments in this case happening January 17th. We are weeks away. And the oral arguments being allowed by Judge Fila, that alone is massive. And I think says a lot, offers some insight into the case, because these things historically don't typically happen. A judge allowing for oral arguments without some type of discovery first. Well, Judge Fila allowing for it. And Coinbase going to bat for the entire crypto industry in these arguments. Coinbase, as you know, filed for this motion to dismiss, saying, we're not selling securities. SEC claiming they are. We're not selling securities. The staking assets that are on our platform, they're not securities. This is the case that they're fighting for. And so in these oral arguments against the SEC, you better believe they're going to be bringing the heat. In this video, I want to discuss what's happening here, weeks away, and then I want to break down how this is kind of impacting my mindset as it relates to crypto and even the risk tolerance aspect of these things. So hit the subscribe, hit the like, and let's just talk about it. So the first things first, the case is huge, everybody. I've been saying I think it's bigger than the Bitcoin spot ETF case. I really do. Well, not case, but the Bitcoin spot ETF being approved January 10th. Now we have January 7th, these oral arguments. I want to say a couple of things. I just saw this post by James Murphy. He's the guy behind Meta Lawman. I talk about him a lot. He does a lot of posts following the Coinbase SEC case. He's a lawyer. And I just saw a post that he did. He was talking about three people. Paul Krugman, who's an economist who hates Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, who, as you know, really likes Bitcoin. And Gary Gensler, who's anti-crypto, basically. He's part of the anti-crypto army. 2013, Paul Krugman and Michael Saylor were both talking about how Bitcoin doesn't have a future. You believe that? Michael Saylor, yes. But what happened was Paul Krugman stuck to his guns in regards to that. He didn't change his mindset, right? He's still anti-Bitcoin. On the other hand, Michael Saylor did some due diligence, was open to kind of change. And this is what Meta Lawman was talking about in the post. And he became obviously a Bitcoin bull and started buying up a ton of Bitcoin. So there was this due diligence thing. There was this matter of conviction type of thing. But then you have this third person, Gary Gensler, who, by the way, 2019 was giving speeches, pro-crypto speeches. He was touting Algorand in 2019 in MIT as just a great project, pre-ICO. He was basically pumping Algo pre-ICO. He seemed like a pro-crypto dude. And then all of a sudden, he became the chair of the SEC. And then all of a sudden, SEC is naming Algo in the Bittrex case earlier this year, in the Binance case earlier this year, claiming it's a security, destroying investors because of this. What happened there? He was pro crypto and all of a sudden he's not. There's a lot of thought in terms of what happened there, why he became this anti-crypto person on the anti-crypto army. But it happened. And it's not because of this level of conviction and due diligence and he changed his mind on things. It has nothing to do with that. He became SEC chair. And so the other thing is, as you know, he said that the SEC can't regulate crypto, right? That's up to the Senate. That's up to the Congress, up to Congress. And then he becomes SEC chair, and then all of a sudden, basically, he's the cop. He's the cop in crypto trying to regulate everything. And so the reason I'm bringing that up is because when it comes to the oral arguments in the Coinbase SEC case, I just think the SEC has like an uphill climb. It's going to be a tough battle because you better believe, I'm pretty sure Coinbase will be mentioning these things. That this is the actions of the SEC chair. This is what happened. And Judge Fila already showing skepticism with the SEC. So that's number one, right? This is, and this kind of leads me to my point here in doing the video. In my opinion, because the law is not on their side, it's not looking great for the SEC. I really don't think it is. But this is the point. I've come to learn in life, you just can't expect things. You can't expect things especially when they seem like a sure deal. You just can't. You can anticipate everything. And I think that's where the analysis that I do on technical analysis, even with things like news, that's where it becomes so meaningful for me. Anticipate everything. That means anticipate that Coinbase doesn't win somehow, or the oral arguments go really bad, or something bad happens. I need to anticipate that, because as we get closer, everybody, and I have my own risk, my own exposures to these markets, I can't help but wonder, man, if this goes well, and the confluence of timing too here is crazy for crypto. We have the Bitcoin spot ETF like a week earlier, the deadline. If that goes well, and then the oral arguments go well, and if Coinbase gets a win and SEC takes a loss, a massive loss, this is going to set so much precedent for the entire crypto space. If all things go well, this could be really good. This could be great for crypto, for the future of crypto, for crypto portfolios, for altcoin portfolios, especially for altcoins listed in these cases where the SEC is straight up just throwing everybody under the bus. This could be huge. But then I start thinking, man, what if Bitcoin spot ETF, what if that doesn't go as planned? Or what if it gets approved and markets pump for a little and then they just crash, and then a week later something bad happens with the SEC Coinbase oral arguments? What if it doesn't go as well and then crypto's crashing and it gets even worse for altcoins? I have to take into account those possibilities when we run into situations like this. I know what's happening from a data perspective, from a news perspective. I know how big the case is, but what if it doesn't go our way? That's a part of risk that I personally am trying to figure out. And even right now, as I do this video, I just want to say this. And the reason I'm doing the video is because I haven't quite figured it out fully. I know the potential macro upside of if all things go well. But I'm not quite sure I know the macro downside if things don't go well. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. How much risk tolerance do I have in this type of environment? And that's something we all have to sit back and figure out. And I encourage you to do so for yourself. If things go really bad, are you comfortable with kind of your position in the markets? That's what I'm asking myself right now. If things go really bad, am I comfortable with my position in these markets? I know if things go really good, I'm comfortable with my position in these markets. I can't quite, as I record this video, I can't quite say if things go bad, I'm fully comfortable. I'm fine. I'm not risking more than I can afford to lose. But if things go bad, I would want to play a little bit differently than I am. And that's just what I'm evaluating. And I may or may not make changes. I don't know. If I don't and things went bad, it wouldn't be a terrible, terrible thing. But it would be terrible for crypto, but for me personally. But those are just some of my thoughts I wanted to put out there. I think it's really good to watch these things closely and really evaluate as these things play out. Study the thought processes that we get insight into Judge Fila even, right? Study what's happening in the Bitcoin spot ETF stuff. And it gives us more data, just more perspective to make more sound decisions. And so that's what I've been doing. That's why I've been following the case very closely. I think it is going to be a defining moment for crypto, especially in 2024, especially as we have all of these other macroeconomic factors in play right now. So let me know your thoughts, everybody. Those are just some of my thoughts in terms of what is getting ready to happen weeks away. And I think it's good for all of us to pay attention. I appreciate you. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.